The circle is narrowing. The actual closure of the border with Finland will be a big problem for Federation citizens who are going to leave Russia, experts believe.
Транзит для граждан Российской Федерации.
Transit for citizens of the Russian Federation who have legal grounds for crossing the second border, like having a second citizenship, residence permit, relatives, or other valid reasons, used to use Finland as a transit point, which is much more convenient than Istanbul. Now it's closed, so all Russians who continue to travel between the world and Russia will suffer the most.
After the start of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, European Union member states stopped issuing visas to Russians or significantly limited the grounds on which they can be obtained. The immigration from the Federation as far back as 2022 was described as record-breaking. Russians leave their country because of political convictions, regime repressions, or because of Putin's announced mobilization. The main flow of migrants went to neighboring countries: Georgia, Kazakhstan, Armenia, Kyrgyzstan, as well as Turkey and Serbia.
По большому счету, это все те страны, которые не ввели жестких ограничений.
Overall, these are all countries that have not imposed strict restrictions. Georgia is still a country where it's more or less safe, but there is an agent network there. There are provocators and those who were the Russian opposition. The situation is worsening gradually as the rest of the world, Western Europe and the USA are closing for Russian citizens. If earlier there were still options for people with valid reasons, like family ties or participation in humanitarian organizations, now these opportunities are already closed.
Experts are convinced that the list of countries where a Russian immigrant can live in complete safety is shorter than it may seem, and the list of oppositionists and activists who have been kidnapped abroad by Russian security services is growing.
Mayor Zhilin was extradited contrary to Kazakh law. Rashkov is another recent example in Kyrgyzstan, also Karyakin in Georgia, where the situation is not yet fully clarified, but of course it is hard to imagine that a person went to prison of his own free will.
Russian citizens are also trying to get to the United States of America. Last year, more than 30,000 Russians asked for the asylum in the United States. This is an absolute record. Most are trying to cross the border from Mexico. According to the U.S. Border Patrol, from March 2022 to July 2023, more than 50,000 Russians tried to enter the United States through this border. For comparison, in 2021, such cases were less than 9,500. Since 2023, Russians are more thoroughly checked at the entrance at Mexico. While Mexican authorities are dissatisfied with the fact that citizens of the Federation use their country as a transit road, they are also concerned about the growth of criminal business for transporting illegal migrants. Some Russians are banned from entering Mexico, and some are even deported. The U.S. has launched an app where you can make an appointment if you are a potential refugee.
At the border, they already know that he is a refugee. They talk to him politely, and in 99% of cases, they let him into the US territory, either through a refugee camp while his data is being checked, or they let him through immediately. Usually families, especially those with children, are let through immediately. However, there is a nuance. Since the beginning of August, Russians, including those who cross the border legally, began to be sent to prison. Vladimir Lastenko, founder of the migration hub Lasten Global, in an interview with The Insider.
Forbes estimated that between 600,000 and 1 million people have left the country since the start of the mobilization in Russia. But the Ministry of Defense of Great Britain in May 2023, on the basis of their own analysis, named another figure: 1,300,000 people. Reported by Anastasia Tarnavska, Yulia Granovska, UATV News.